Good morning, class. I hope you are having a great day today.
Good morning, teacher.
I have prepared a short story for you. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, teacher.
So let me begin the story. The story is entitled Lisa's First Spelling Bee. Lisa has loved words for as long as she can remember. She loves the sounds words make, the shapes of words, and the way letters are arranged in words. Some of her favorite words are lollipop, balloon, and purple. When Lisa has free time at school, she likes to write down words and doodle on the letters to create fun drawings. Sometimes she takes the drawings home to her parents, and sometimes her teachers pins them to the classroom bulletin board. One day, Lisa's art teacher, Mr. Jordan, walked into her classroom and noticed one of Lisa's recent pieces of word art. He was very impressed with her creativity and her word choice. After all, not many fourth graders know the word sanctuary and how to spell it, let alone know what it means. Lisa's word art turned the word sanctuary into a beautiful image with birds, rabbits, and butterflies in a natural, undisturbed setting with trees and a pond. Mr. Jordan waited until the class went to recess and then talked to Lisa's teacher, Mrs. Roberts, about Lisa's talent. Mrs. Roberts said, "She is a very good artist and she is also quite talented at spelling. I'm sure the fact that she turns the letters of words into characters and images to form her artistic pieces help her remember the spellings. She could do very well in a spelling bee, and her doodling would help her study," said Mr. Jordan. "I could help her too by creating word art with her," he added. "That's a great idea. I will ask Lisa if she is interested in entering the spelling bee," Mrs. Roberts replied. "It is only 3 weeks away, so she would have to study pretty hard," she added. Later that day, Mrs. Roberts asked Lisa if she could stay for a couple of minutes after class dismissal. Lisa asked Mrs. Roberts if she was in trouble, and Mrs. Roberts replied, "Quite the contrary." Lisa was still nervous, but she stayed to see what her teacher wanted. When Lisa found out Mrs. Roberts wanted her to enter the spelling bee, she was thrilled and honored. Usually, only 5th graders enter the spelling bee. Lisa was even more excited when she heard that Mr. Jordan was going to help her study with the use of art. Lisa and Mr. Jordan met every day after school for the next 3 weeks. Mrs. Roberts had given them word lists to study. Lisa studied hard by turning each word into a drawing. When she wasn't sure what a word meant, Mr. Jordan would tell her and help her come up with an idea of the word art. When the big day arrived, Lisa felt well prepared, but she was still nervous. There were 26 5th graders and 3 4th graders in the spelling bee. After the first 3 rounds, there were still 21 contestants. Lisa was one of them. Lisa was holding her own and continued to successfully spell difficult words including economy, avenue, tissue, and station over the next several rounds. She knew her word art was helping her succeed because she could visualize the words. After 6 more rounds, there were only 3 contestants remaining, Lisa and 2 5th graders. It was Lisa's turn to spell. Her word was migration. She remembered drawing flying ducks for the word. She pictured her art and spelled the word correctly. One of the 5th graders wasn't so lucky during this round, and it was now down to Lisa and one other contestant, a boy named Ben. Ben went first in this round. He was given a word that Lisa knew very well, valet. Ben knew the word too and spelled it without a hitch. Now Lisa had to spell her word correctly to stay in the bee. Otherwise, Ben would win. She listened carefully as her word was announced. The word sounded familiar, but it wasn't one of the words she had studied. The word was tolerable. Lisa thought about words that contained similar sounds. She knew how to spell tolerate and notable. Could she use that knowledge to spell tolerable? She did, and it worked. Lisa made it to the next round. Ben listened to his next word and hesitated for quite a while. He took his time and eventually spelled ceremony correctly. Lisa's next word was deception. This too was a word she had not studied. She thought and thought about the words and listened to the sounds, but in the end, she was one letter off in her spelling. Lisa was slightly sad she did not win, but at the same time, she was proud of herself for making in this far in her first spelling bee. Plus, she knew she could come back next year and try again. That's all for the story. So, we are now done reading and listening to the story. For me to know if you really listen well, I have prepared a set of questions. And I have here rolled papers of your names. I'm gonna pick randomly and should answer the given question. The first person is Charlie. So the first question is, who are Lisa's teacher?
As what I remembered in the story, teacher, Lisa's has two teachers, which is Mrs. Roberts and Mr. Jordan.
Very good, Charlene. So the second student is May I have Jeff? Jeff, your question is, what are some of Lisa's favorite words?
The favorite word of Lisa are balloon, lollipop, and purple.
Good job, Jeff. Her favorite words are lollipop, balloon, and purple. Another one. May I call on Kim? Your question is, what are the talents of Lisa?
Very good artist and spelling of words.
Amazing, Kim. You really listen well. So for the fourth question. Again, Kim. Your question is, when Lisa has free time at school, what would she likes to do?
She likes to write down words and doodle on the letters to create fun drawings.
Very good, Kim. Another one. Jeff, what is the word that Lisa created into beautiful image of birds, rabbit, butterflies, trees, and a pond?
The word created by Lisa is sanctuary.
Excellent, Jeff. For the next question. Charlene, how many contestants are there in the competition and how many fourth graders are included?
I think it has 29 contestants, and 3 of them are fourth graders.
Well done, Charlene. It's correct. For the next question again. May I have Michelle. Who is the last opponent of Lisa in the final?
As what I remember in the story, the last opponent of Lisa in the final, he was Ben teacher.
Very good, Michelle. That's correct. And for the last question, to Michelle again. What is the word given to Liza for her to stay in the spelling bee competition?
I think she is tolerable, teacher.
You are all very good, class. You really listened well to me while I was reading the story. A round of applause for everyone. I hope next time you'll do the same and interact with me. Goodbye, everyone.